6 months ago, I completely changed my hair routine after binge watching Abbey Young's videos on TikTok. I bought the products, I followed the techniques, I stopped doing everything that she said that was damaging and committed to a full routine for 6 months. Today, I'm gonna show you everything. What I bought, what actually worked, what was a waste of money, and whether I'd actually recommend you do this yourself. Because honestly, there were quite a few things that surprised me. Before I started this whole 6-month routine, my hair wasn't in terrible shape by any means, but I definitely wasn't where I wanted to be. And the frustrating part, I think, is I felt like I was doing enough, but personally, I wasn't seeing real progress. For context, my hair's pretty fine, and I would say my hair's medium-ish density. Over time, I started seeing the same reoccurring issues over and over and over again. It always felt like it was stuck at collarbone-ish length, maybe a little longer, but nothing remotely past that. My hair would get a little longer and then a little thinner, and then I would get a trim and my hair would be the exact same. I think that's when I realized that it wasn't necessarily a growth problem, it was most definitely breakage. So I wanted to commit. I needed to stop thinking about one miracle product or one thing that was gonna fix my entire hair. I personally needed something more structured that actually taught me how to take care of my hair. So this kind of struggle kind of led me down the rabbit hole of the Abbey Yung Method. And after watching all her videos, I decided to commit to a full 6-month experiment. I really wanted to see what would actually happen if I actually stayed consistent. Before I get into exactly what I changed in my routine, I think it's important to explain what I mean by the Abbey Yung Method. The Abbey Yung Method isn't an official program or anything, and it's not through any sort of paywall. It's more so a set of hair care principles popularized by Abbey Yung. Abbey Yung is a influencer, less so influencer and more beauty guru. Her method consists of a pretty general routine with product recommendations for different hair types, hair porosities, things like that. Her method focuses on improving hair health and reducing breakage. The core ideas behind it are pretty simple. Healthy hair isn't necessarily about making your hair grow faster, but reducing breakage so you can actually retain length. This kind of mindset is a little bit different from hair advice you usually see. When you break it down, there's a couple key pillars that people usually associate with her approach. Number one, scalp health. The idea is you're not going to have good conditions for hair growth if you're not properly cleansing and maintaining your scalp. So this means shampooing, removing buildup, things that keep your scalp healthy over time. Number two is damage prevention. Abbey Yung really focuses on preventing breakage. So instead of trying to fix split ends after they happen, her method kind of focuses on how do we reduce the amount of split ends we're creating. So without heat protectant, aggressive brushing, kind of getting rid of those things that really damage your hair over time. The third thing is targeted treatments. Her method is less about just using a bunch of products and kind of hoping everything works out. It's more about using the right products intentionally. I think it's super important to say that this method is by no means magic. This doesn't override genetics. It doesn't make your hair perfect. It's simply a method to reduce unnecessary damage and protect your hair. I built a full routine based on these products and followed it consistently for 6 months. Simply tracking what actually happened. Before I go into my exact routine, I just want to say that there was a lot of trial and error. I tried a lot of products, not everything made it in. I also realized really quickly what works for someone else's hair is not going to work for mine. A lot of this process was just figuring out what my hair needs, and that is sometimes really hard to figure out. So what I'm showing y'all isn't necessarily a perfect routine that I followed from start to finish. It's more so the routine that I kind of tweaked over time, and this is kind of what I'm, working with now. So with that in mind, here is my full hair care routine using the Abbey Yung Method. I wash my hair about every 2 days, basically whenever my hair started to feel oily. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I used to do hair training. I used to be a firm believer that washing your hair more often meant, you were killing your scalp. I can't necessarily say that it doesn't work Like I don't think I'm at liberty to say that. So I got rid of that. I got rid of hair training. I wash my hair when it's oily. Before I get into the shower, I usually put on some pre-wash oil. I personally use the OGX coconut oil in the spray form. I just apply it into my mids and ends and leave it in for about 15 minutes before I wash my hair. In the shower, I always double shampoo. My hair does not feel clean unless I double shampoo. I usually start out with the Dove Head and Shoulder shampoo. I will say I do deal with dandruff, but I will also say that the Head and Shoulders shampoo is definitely not the best fit for my dandruff. I'm not gonna say that it isn't a good dandruff shampoo, but it just didn't work for me. The reason I use it is because it is a really nice cleanse and it's affordable. I do use something else for dandruff that worked really well, and I'll show y'all that. After my first shampoo, I go in with my second shampoo. I go in with the Pantene Abundant and Strong shampoo, which is for hair shedding. Before I shampoo, sometimes I go in with the L'Oreal bonding treatment. This is just supposed to strengthen your hair over time. Then I go in with the L'Oreal Glycolic Gloss Conditioner. I focus this mainly on my mids and ends. After I get out of the shower, I always put my hair in a microfiber hair towel. Once I feel like my hair is not stopping wet anymore, I will put in the Pantene Miracle Leave-In Conditioner. I just apply it to my damp hair and put it on my mids and ends. Then I go in with the OGX Moroccan Hair Oil just to seal everything in and add some shine. I personally like the spray version. I've tried the thicker oil. It is nice, but it's too thick for my dry hair. It works great with my wet hair, don't get me wrong, but with my dry hair, it's just too thick. I don't personally use heat on my hair. I personally always air dry my hair. This is just personal preference. I personally find that with this method, I can add shine into my hair without heat. And I just feel like my hair is so prone to being damaged when I use heat, even with a heat protectant. So I just like to avoid it. I also can't afford those fancy tools that are this is better for drying your hair, but it's $800. Between wash days, I use the Ordinary Peptide Serum for hair density. Massaging your scalp helps with blood circulation and stimulating your hair follicles. I always massage my scalp for about 5 minutes, both before and after I apply my serum. At night, I usually apply some sort of leave-in conditioner and oil to my hair. This really helps just prevent my hair from getting dry overnight. Once that's dry, I always put my hair in a silk bonnet. A silk bonnet was absolutely a game changer for me. This made a huge difference when I'd wake up in the morning because my hair used to always get so dry if I was just sleeping on cotton sheets. Even with a silk pillowcase, my hair still got really dry. But with a silk bonnet, that is basically gone and my hair feels so silky and smooth when I wake up in the morning. Huge difference. I can't rave enough. Outside of products, I always try to be very mindful about protecting my hair during the day. I wear a lot of braids, claw clips, and honestly, wearing my silk bonnet when I'm just relaxing at home made a bigger difference than I thought. So this is the routine I've been using most recently during this whole 6-month experiment. It didn't necessarily look like this at the beginning. There was a lot of trial and error, things I didn't repurchase, things I swapped out, things that I realized that I didn't need. One of the biggest things was just trusting when something didn't work for me. Removing things that I really thought that I needed, even though I knew that they just weren't a fit for me. One example is a L'Oreal Glossing Conditioner. I've heard amazing things about this conditioner, but when I tried it, it just didn't get my hair smooth enough or silky enough compared to conditioners that I've used before. This isn't to say that this is a bad conditioner by any means, but it's important to know that it didn't work for me. And that's the only thing that matters, no matter what people say about it. Another thing that just didn't work for me was hair oiling. I have been trying to get consistent with hair oiling for years now, specifically rosemary oil. I'm not here to say that this doesn't work, but for me, it was just too high maintenance. And because I wasn't doing it on a consistent basis, I wasn't seeing results. It was just a lot to put oil in for my hair up to 3 hours a day. I just had to realize that it just didn't work with my schedule and I just had to ditch it. It doesn't mean that hair oiling doesn't work. It just meant that it didn't work for me. If you're gonna take anything away from this video, I would say just trust when something doesn't work for you. I'm not saying give up when things get difficult. Refine your hair routine to what feels realistic and sustainable for you. Now that you've seen my full routine, I'm gonna let you know what products I liked, what products didn't work for me. To be clear, this isn't about good products, bad products, but about what worked for my hair and what didn't. First on the list is OGX coconut oil. I liked it, but wasn't necessarily essential for me. It did make my hair feel softer, but didn't necessarily feel like it gave me dramatic results. Nice to have, but not essential. Next up is the Head & Shoulders Dandruff Shampoo. Personally, I really liked the cleansing on this product, but it wasn't effective for my dandruff. Good scalp reset, but not the best for my dandruff. Next is the Pantene Abundant and Strong Shampoo. This product I genuinely loved. Super great clean. It definitely made my hair feel stronger over time. Stable product. Next up is the L'Oreal Bonding Treatment. This is one of the products where I didn't necessarily see a dramatic difference. I think it made my hair stronger, but I really couldn't tell very well. For me, I just didn't see a dramatic change. Didn't make a noticeable difference. Next up is the L'Oreal Glycolic Gloss Conditioner. I loved this conditioner. It made my hair feel soft, silky, smooth, and shiny. Strong staple. Next is the Pantene Miracle Leave-In Conditioner. I really loved this one. It is super lightweight, especially for my thin hair, and it gave me a lot of softness, and it was a really good detangler. Staple leave-in. Next is the OGX Moroccan Hair Oil. I also really loved this product. It was great for sealing in my ends and gave me a lot of extra shine. Staple oil. Next is the Ordinary Peptide Serum for hair density. I personally really liked this one. It was really lightweight. It didn't leave any residue on my scalp, but you have to be consistent with it. It is not a miracle product. You have to use it for weeks to definitely months to see any kind of visible result. Needs consistency to matter. Next is the L'Oreal Salicylic Acid Serum. This one was honestly amazing. I didn't mention this one in my routine because I'm still kind of trying it out, but so far it's been amazing for my dandruff and almost completely got rid of it. And it is perfect for wash days where I'm feeling a lot of buildup. Hidden standout. One thing I think is really important to mention is that all of the products in this routine are drugstore. I didn't use anything high-end, anything salon exclusive, and that was definitely intentional. As someone on a budget, I definitely think it's difficult to justify building a whole hair care routine. Personally, I wanted to build something realistic that I felt like I could repurchase without breaking my bank. Over time, I definitely realized you don't need expensive products to get good hair. In fact, some of my favorite products were on the cheaper end. So if you've ever felt like good hair care is out of reach financially, trust me, it's not. So now that you know all the deets on everything that I used, what actually changed? This isn't some overnight transformation. My hair didn't suddenly become perfect. But the changes I did notice were consistent. They were things I didn't realize I knew were missing until they happened. The most obvious change is length. My hair is the longest that it's been in a very long time. Even though hair growth was slow, what I noticed more than anything was that I was finally retaining length. So it didn't feel like my hair was suddenly growing faster. I just was keeping what I was already growing. Breakage is definitely where I saw the biggest transformation. I mean, before this, I used to go to bed with my hair wet consistently. Kind of going with that, I saw less split ends. I remember a moment looking down at my hair and finding it difficult to find split ends, which is crazy for me because I used to look down at my hair and see more split ends that I could count. Before this experiment, I was consistently always seeing damage to my hair versus now it's almost difficult to find. And that was the most surprising to me because my hair texture hasn't changed. My hair has always been super fine and very prone to breakage. So seeing these differences, I could definitely attribute it to this experiment. I also saw differences on the cosmetic side. My hair always used to be kind of dull. Even when I used heat on it, I never really felt that would change. But genuinely, my hair has gotten so much shinier and I don't even use heat. I never thought that my hair would look like those like glossy Pinterest photos. One of the biggest day-to-day changes isn't even visual, it's how my hair felt. Before, my hair was always really difficult to manage. Lots of tangles, lots of knots, difficulty brushing my hair. Now I can finally run my hands through my hair with very little resistance. Mind you, I've been wearing my hair down all day and it's like 4 p.m. And that change alone made wash days, styling, just like simply brushing my hair so much easier. If I had to put it in plain terms, this is what the difference looks like, which is what actually makes it feel like growth. To be fair, I still have bad hair days, frizzy days, dry days. I'm not constantly fighting with my hair anymore. But the real question is, was it worth it? Was it worth doing this for 6 months? So after 6 months, there are consistent changes that I've seen, but I also think that there are things people don't talk about enough when doing the Abbey Yung Method. The first thing is that it just takes time. This isn't something where you try one product and see instant results. It is a consistent effort over time. I would say consistency is definitely the hardest part of the whole thing, even with drugstore products. Even though I only used affordable products, it still adds up because it's not just one product. It's shampoo, it's conditioner, it's leave-ins, it's oils, it's serums. The list goes on. While it's more accessible, it's still a commitment financially over time. Another thing is genetics. You can't change your hair genetics. You will always be working with the hair that you have, the hair that grows out of your head. Even things like diet still play a role in your hair health. So I would say the Abbey Yung Method is more about working with your hair and less about completely changing it. I think realizing that my hair wasn't gonna look amazing every day was something that was definitely hard to accept. There are frizzy days, oily days, dry days. Sometimes you just need to put your hair up in a clip and move on. Just move on. So I'm gonna give y'all the final ratings. Hair growth. This routine obviously didn't make my hair grow faster, but it did let me keep what I was growing. That was a huge difference. 7 out of 10. Hair health. My hair has never been healthier. Not perfect, but compared to what it used to be, I can confidently say my hair is in a better state. 10 out of 10. Shine. The cosmetic side of this routine definitely works. A lot of the products that Abbey Yung recommends are supposed to make your hair shinier, glossier, smoother, things like that. And I definitely noticed. 9 out of 10. Cost. Even though I tried to keep things drugstore, it still adds up. That said, Abbey Yung does give routines, so scaling back is 100% possible. Still can be costly. 6 out of 10. Time. The routine isn't complicated, but it does not only take time over time to see results, it does take time daily. Wash day steps, nighttime routine, morning hair habits, things like that. 7 out of 10. Overall, it was an amazing experience. I owe my hair to Abbey Yung. 8.8 out of 10. The real question is, would I do it again? Absolutely. I've learned so much about my hair, what works, what doesn't work, what I don't need to be worrying about. I will be definitely doing this routine for another 6 months. Would I recommend it? Yes, but with context. I think it's a great approach if you want healthier hair and better retention and don't really have a routine, don't really know where to start. Who should skip this? I don't think this is for everyone. If you're dealing with active hair loss, severe shedding, scalp issues, I would definitely get that checked out first with a professional before trying any sort of routine like this. And if your current routine already works for you, I do not see a reason to overhaul everything. You could maybe just add a few small steps here and there. The best thing about the Abbey Yung Method is that it's not all or nothing. You can make it as simple or as detailed as you want to. For me, I really just wanted to go on this journey to learn more about my hair. It wasn't necessarily about chasing the perfect hair, but finally learning how to take care of my hair properly. All right, if you've been thinking about doing the Abbey Yung Method, please let me know what products you're most curious about. And if you've already tried it, I would love to hear what worked or didn't for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.